Okay, so now that you have the basics of how to log in, browse the artwork, and edit stories and make stories in Storybird, let's talk about the studio or creating a class. So I'm logged into Storybird, so I just logged in, and it takes me by default to your stuff. So from the your stuff location, you want to go to your studio. Your studio is where you're going to create classes and then add students to your class. There are a couple of ways that we can add students to our class. Again, if you're somebody who has Chromebooks in your classroom or your students are used to signing into their Google account, the easiest way is just have them go to Storybird, sign up as a student, and then do that Google sign in, and then they would join your class with a code, and I'll show you what that looks like. If you're not somebody like that, we're going to actually add your students into your class. So we'll walk through that whole process. So in the studio, I don't have any classes yet. So they say, hey, this is how you get the best out of Storybird, create a class. And this is really true. I think there's some really awesome features of Storybird that are available for you through the teacher mode, which is like creating that word list, creating assignments, being able to choose an art pack and give it to all of your students and say you're going to make it with this, and invite parents to read stories. So I'm making a class. I'm just calling it Digital Primary Learners. You would obviously make one for your class. I'm going to select my grade level and I'm just going to split it down the middle. And I'm going to say create a class account. So once you've created a class, it brings you to this classes dashboard. So the first thing is this class code. So if your students have created their own accounts with their Google account, they have a little thing that just says join a class right on their dashboard, and they would put in this code, and you're done. That's as easy as it gets. So if you are somebody who needs to add students, we're going to do that together. So I'm just going to give you a quick overview. So here is your work. They give you a few example stories and what it would look like from a teacher dashboard for each class for reviewing their stories. So example story, who turned it in, their username, when they modified it, the grade because it's been graded or it hasn't, is it published, and then you get links and things that you could share. You can also moderate comments. So students can comment on one another's story, and so then you can moderate their comments. So that is under the classes. So I'm just going to go back to the review stories tab. Under this drop down, if you have more than one class, you'd see all of your classes here. You can also add classes, and then you can also delete classes or change the class settings. So I'm just going to go to class settings. You can change the name, the grade level. You can have an avatar. You can turn on comment moderation, which would mean that your students aren't allowed to comment onto each other's works until after you've moderated them. Or you've had a conversation about what is appropriate commenting. So you can have that conversation, and then turn on email notifications. I'm just going to hit cancel because I don't want to, but you would click update if you had made changes. So that's really cool. So that's pretty much it right here. You have like a little FAQ. So let's move across. So your students tab, this is going to show you where your students are. So if your students join your class with the code, they're just going to be here. My suggestion is that if you're not going to use the Google sign-in, and for those of you that have students that have never signed into their Google account, there's nothing wrong with that. This is the way to do it. I would sit in here and I would type in your students' usernames like this. Just take a few minutes, go down your list. I thought that for like some reason they gave you guys Excel sheets with all of your student accounts on them, and then it would have been easy to just copy and paste out of that. But since they're in a PDF on the SharePoints, I'm not even sure if that's helpful for you. So in the amount of time that I'm going to give you all of that, you probably could have had them all typed in here. Okay, so you get the idea. I'm creating all these test accounts. I'll never have these accounts again. So there's my test accounts. I keep going, and then I say add students. It's going to add my students to the class. 6 students have been added to the class. There they are, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So you didn't have enough slots for your students, so you'd come back to add and invite students and continue with your list. So you do the same thing. And this is, I have just like gone through every way possible. This is by far the fastest and easiest way for you. Just type them in. Once you've done that, this is the part that you're going to hate. They give them this rando temporary password, and if you want, you can print student login cards and give them this rando temporary password, or it's up to you. You can sit here and change their passwords back to what the district uses. So you click on the settings and you would say change password, and then you would put in new password 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and then you can see I've already done this once, and then you would do it again. If you copy and paste this, so if you copied this, when you do 1, you should be able to just go down the list and say change password and then paste. I lied, you can't do it because it's a password. So unless I didn't copy it, I'm going to try it again. Just make sure I did copy it. Copy. And then let me see if I can paste it. Yep, I can. So I just didn't copy it. And then move to the next one. They do keep this nice little blue turquoise, whatever color you want to call it, thing there that allows you to remember where you're at. So the pasting does work. Paste, Control V, easiest way to do it. Change password, and then move down the list. So I recommend changing the passwords. I know it's not showing that they're changed, but once you refresh this screen, it's going to show you, instead of a temporary password, it's basically saying the password's been changed and those accounts are activated. So once you do it once, it's good. So then your student login is exactly what, the login cards that you made at the beginning of the school year, if you've done that or you're going to do that for your students, would match that. So this is by far the easiest way to do it. So just manually type in your students, add them, and then add them again. And then go back to add or invite students, and then add them again. So once your students are in to your account, then you can invite parents, and then you create assignments and you assign them to them. So I'm just going to show you this assignment section. So the assignment section is pretty awesome, and we saw this when I created the poem. So and they even give you like a little red pop-up like, oh, how great, add custom word lists to poetry assignments, perfect for word walls, vocabulary, and spelling. So they're super excited about that, and I think it's great. So you can create an assignment, and with the assignment, that gives you the ability to assign word lists to students. So I'm going to say create an assignment. So we're going to create a sample assignment. It's going to be great. So I'm going to say, so I'm going to do a giving thanks poem. Just a poem for today, that's fine. A description. And okay, I guess I should not be as generic. Okay. So this, so they give you this media optional. So this will accompany your assignment to explain or inspire. So it could be a story from Storybird. So like a link to a story from Storybird as an example. So you could create an example poem or story and then paste the URL in here, but you could also grab like a YouTube video, a Vimeo or SchoolTube video, and use that to inspire. So this is to paste a URL in here or artwork in here that will inspire students. It'll give them like a picture or a video or an actual amount of content to make you give the students an idea of what it's all about. So that's a great option for you. For an example, you could have an assignment image, and then here's where all of this happens. So you could leave it open for use all artwork, and they give you these nice little things that I just keep reading to you, which is basically them saying, the idea behind Storybird is that the artwork inspires students to write. And so by limiting their artwork, you've taken away some level of creativity. However, it's nice, especially because those art packs are kind of overwhelming, that maybe for the first assignment or first couple of assignments that you do, you found this perfect art pack that really aligns with what you want to do, and you think that that should be what students use for it. And that is an excellent way to kind of, make it a little bit more streamlined. So I definitely suggest that. Maybe for your first assignment, you just give them, you say, you're going to use this art pack and you're going to write a poem about something that you're thankful for. So I'm going to actually do that right now for mine, just because I'd like to show you what that looks like. So I'm going to say, if you choose a tag, you'd actually put the tag in, which would be like the search term. So like when we were going through the artwork and we did a search by tags or friends, I think I searched for friends or caring or thankful. If I do this for thankful, then what it's going to give them is all of the pictures that are tagged by thankful that they can create a artwork or create a poem from, or whatever the assignment is from. So you'd have to know what that is. So I'm actually going to step out into a new tab. So I'm just going to show you what that looks like. So I'm stepping into a new tab. I'm going to record this. So I'm going to say create. So if I wanted to use that tag feature, this would be the tag. So if I search for thankful, then any image that's tagged with thankful, 23 of these are going to be what students would use, and these would be the images that they would have available for creating their assignment. So that's what that tag option is. So if I search for friends, it looks like, I did this already, you guys know this. Then this would be their art pack collection, so using that tag. The other option is to give them a specific art pack. So under my stuff, you saw that I had followed some artists. So you could give them a specific artist that you want them to use, or you could use from your following. So these are the Storybird ones. I don't love the following just because you have to go through it like a stream. And if I'm looking for something particular, which is why I really like the hearted, where I can pull up an individual one. So this is the one that I want students to use. So I could put in the artist. So this is the artist, the art of creature design, or I could put in the tag, like the actual artwork collection. So I clicked on the name. So this is the artwork collection. And so this is what I'm going to copy that. This is what I would put in here for them. So I'm actually going to say use a specific artist. And that's my tag. Okay. So choose your type, poem, and then here's the word list option. So if I want to give them specific words from vocabulary that we were using in class, I can give them a specific list of words. Enter up to 100 and basic punctuation only. So I could use that word list. I'm not going to use the word list, but I'm going to go ahead and create the assignment. Sorry, and I'm going to make it due the 30th. Save assignment. So it's done. There's the assignment. And so now that's what it looks like. So if I want to see what it looks like, here's the instructions. Tell me something that you're thankful for and why. So this is what's going to pop up on your students' Storybird when they log in, and it's just automatic, bam, I'm going to do this assignment. So if they click do this assignment, it's going to open up like this, and it's going to preload the artwork that I gave them. So bam, focus on the content. How awesome is that? And it would be the same. So you're seeing the poem option here, but you'd see the same thing for the story. You'd see all the pictures everywhere. And you'd also see the same for the long form, which is pretty cool. So I could just refresh the art. I really do think that word list is great, but for you guys specifically, because you have certain words and vocabulary that you're going through that you could definitely include for your students. So that is the assignment.